Facts. Early morning, August 5, 2012, a collision occurred on the on-ramp that connects Highway 427 and the CLN4Ue. There were 2 fatalities and a severe injury. 19-year-old Sebastian Prosa was speeding in the wrong direction along the ramp during the collision. Mr. Prosa pleaded not guilty to all charges against him and was tried without a jury. Issues. The main issue of the case was deciding whether Mr. Prosa was to blame for the accident. Prosa claims that he is not because he was drugged. Decision. On June 26, 2015, Mr. Prosa was convicted of 12 charges: 2 counts of impaired driving causing death, a count of impaired driving causing bodily harm, 2 counts of operating a motor vehicle with over 80 milligrams of alcohol in 100 milliliters of his blood, thereby causing an accident resulting in death, a count of operating a motor vehicle with over 80 milligrams of alcohol in 100 milliliters of his blood, thereby causing an accident resulting in bodily harm, 2 counts of dangerous driving causing death, a count of dangerous driving causing bodily harm, 2 counts of criminal negligence causing death, and a count of criminal negligence causing bodily harm. He was then sentenced to 5 years in prison and an 8-year license suspension. Defense. Mr. Prosa's lawyer argued that Prosa's projected amount of alcohol consumed at the time of the accident is not enough to explain his bizarre behavior. They claimed Mr. Prosa was a very good young man, who had never driven drunk before and had no intention of ever doing so. Mr. Prosa believes he was drugged prior to driving while he was at a nightclub. This was based on Mr. Prosa's measured blood alcohol concentration, his stated intention not to drive after drinking that night, his prior arrangements made to leave his car in the parking lot and sleep at a friend's house, the change of plans with no reasoning, the lack of purpose to the drive, the strange U-turn that led to Mr. Prosa driving the wrong way on the highway, and his lack of memory between being at the nightclub and in the hospital. Opposition. The evidence against Mr. Prosa is also very strong. Although Mr. Prosa had never driven drunk before, he only had a 2-month-long track record. Also, Mr. Prosa's friend states that he had every intention to drive home after drinking, until he was pressured into changing his plans. Furthermore, Prosa also agreed that he may have changed his mind and decided to go home. Prosa's main defense is that he was drugged, but this is only speculation. The judge was not convinced that Mr. Prosa was drugged, because looking at similar previous drunk driving cases, Mr. Prosa's actions do not seem to be unusual for someone with his blood alcohol concentration. Also, Mr. Prosa only remembers drinking shots. Shots are unlikely to have been drugged because they usually go straight from the bartender to the customer, who drinks it right away and all at once. Analysis. Ultimately, Mr. Prosa's defense did not seem plausible, and so he was convicted after having caused a horrible tragedy. Mr. Prosa could only have been convicted if the judge was convinced beyond a reasonable doubt on all of the evidence that Mr. Prosa was guilty. Many other cases were also referenced when this case was being decided to determine if someone with similar blood alcohol concentration to that of Mr. Prosa had ever made similar decisions when driving. This was to determine if it was plausible that Mr. Prosa's actions could have been affected solely by alcohol. I personally believe the correct decision was made. It is quite clear that Mr. Prosa made the poor choice to drink and drive, which resulted in 2 deaths and a severe injury. Survey question. Do you think that Sebastian Prosa's age affected the sentence he was given? If he was older, do you think he would have been given a different amount of jail time? Please select yes or no.